And once again, viewers, we're shifting our focus to what's happening in the Apex Court today. Very important hearing, the day-to-day hearing of the abrogation of Article 370, where we had seen that the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta had been looking at three major points. That of the interpretation of Article 370, which according to them is correct, is something that he had also cited in the courtroom. Second is the State Reorganization Act, and third is the parameters of the powers of the legislature during 356. So these three parameters that will be argued upon by the government today, and those were the arguments that had been put forth before the bench since morning that we have been tracking for you viewers. And once again, let's listen in as to what's happening in the Apex Court. All right, and the latest viewers that we can also get for you. As to what's happening in the Supreme Court is also the CJI asking the SG as to whether there is a roadmap. And we had seen that right before breaking for lunch, this is what the CJI had stated. Those are the last updates. And we had seen how the SG had also stated that in 2020, the first time local elections had taken place, and the CJI had stated to that, equally restoration of democracy is important, and that we take your point that progression has already begun. And the CJI, in fact, after listening to the arguments that had been put forth by the SG Tushar Mehta, he had stated that we understand that these are matters of national security and the preservation of nation itself if the overriding concern is there. But without putting you in a bind, you and AG may seek instructions at the highest level. And if whether or not there is time to frame in view as well is something that the CJI had stated after listening to the arguments that had been put forth by the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta. In fact, the CJI had also stated that the government also has to make a statement before us that the progression has to take place. It can't be a union territory permanently. So that was one of the biggest point of argument that had also been put forth by the SG Tushar Mehta in the courtroom itself. And joining me right now is my colleague Sambhav, who's been tracking this hearing since the very morning. Sambhav, speak to us a little bit about the developments coming to light from the Apex Court as far as the arguments of the SG Tushar Mehta is concerned, the parameters of which he had put forth in the beginning of the arguments itself. And the CJI had very importantly also noted that this cannot be a union territory permanently. And we had seen how the SG had also argued that Article 370 was never a permanent article to begin with.
The 12th hearing of abrogation of Article 370 case in the top court of the country, wherein Solicitor General Tushar Mehta is making submission in front of a 5-judge constitution bench hearing this matter. So, today in an important observation, the Chief Justice of India has asked the Solicitor General, and the Attorney General was also present there inside the courtroom, that does the Parliament has power to make state into a union territory? This was asked by Chief Justice of India before lunch, and along with it, Chief asked if the status of union territory is not permanent, how impermanent is it, and when are you going to hold elections there? So, and Chief also asked, is there a roadmap? How you have to show us that if there is a roadmap. And you have to make a statement before us to show as to how you converted a state into a union territory and how long will this continue. So these are the questions asked by Chief Justice of India to the centre, and asked Solicitor General Tushar Mehta to get instructions on these questions and inform us. So now the court would again resume post-lunch, and the hearing on this case would continue in the top court of the country.